So what's going on guys, Cadis here and welcome back to a brand new video. For today I will show you the best barbarian build in Diablo Immortal. So at the start I will explain how to play this class, then we will look into the best skills, rotations and attributes that you want to use. Then later we will go over the awakening, best stones and where to use your paragon levels, and even which gems you want to use on your gear. And then lastly I will show you the best gameplay, so you would know how to get out of your abilities, the highest damage possible and much more. So if this sounds interesting to you, then let's get right into it. So Barbarian has big AoE skills with high damage to farm a lot of mob groups very quickly. He also has good mobility to make the leveling and endgame dungeons very easy and enjoyable. His skills suffer from relatively long cooldowns, so make sure you group up your enemies to kill them very efficiently. Normally a Barbarian's gameplay is focused around using one of your skills to activate the perk on your armor called the Spirit of the Ancients, that summons a spirit that stuns your nearby enemies and fights beside you for a short duration. Then you want to activate your Wrath of the Berserker to increase your damage and then use your big AoE skills. So then let's move over to the build, and for your skills you want to get the Frenzy, Undying Rage, Wrath of the Berserker, Hammer of the Ancients and Whirlwind. So first of all, your Frenzy primary skill does a lot of single target damage and increases your attack speed. Then plus you get an ultimate ability that upgrades your Frenzy skill by giving you a stun immunity, the option to move while attacking, and you also gain a shield that absorbs 20% of your health. Overall this is a great skill that does good single target damage and increases your attack speed. Then moving over to the second ability, which is the Undying Rage, and when you activate the skill, you will enter a rage mode for 5 seconds. That prevents you from dying and all of your attacks will heal you for 30% of your damage done. Usually I use the skill when a lot of enemies are around me, so then I can easily go from 10% HP to back to full. Then for the next ability we have the Whirlwind, and the skill will make you spin in all directions while doing bunch of AoE damage. This is one of the best skills that basically every single berserker uses for a spin to win playstyle. Overall this is your main damage dealer that does bunch of AoE damage and pulls all the enemies in one spot, so then you or your teammates can do bunch of damage. So then for the next ability we have the Wrath of Berserker, which increases your attack speed by 50% and movement speed by 20% for the next 6 seconds. Overall the skill is a great buff for more attack and movement speed. And then lastly the fifth ability is called Hammer of the Ancients, that summons a spirit that stuns your nearby enemies and fights beside you for a short duration. But you only want to use the skill when you have reached rank 10 in the battle pass and you have got the remembered legendary item, because if you haven't done this then you won't be able to summon the spirit that does bunch of damage. So then moving over to the rotation, and you first of all want to start by gathering up the enemies with a Whirlwind ability. Then now use the Hammer of the Ancients to summon the spirit and stun your enemies. Then afterwards we want to use the Wrath of Berserker to increase our damage, and then we use the Whirlwind again to do big AoE damage. Then after that is done you want to spam our primary attack, aka the Frenzy skill, and if you ever get below 30% health, then use the Undying Rage to quickly fill up your health back to full. Then we just keep on using the Frenzy till the Whirlwind comes back up, and then we repeat the same rotation, and that's about it. So then let's go over to the attributes, and the best attribute that you want to get for Barbarian is Strength, and then secondary attribute is Fortitude. The way you do this is by using equipment that either way has Strength or Fortitude. And for your weapons you first of all want to prioritize how much damage it does, and then secondary the attribute. So then moving over to your equipment, and this is how your gear should look like. So first of all for your offhand you want to go with the Remembered, and for your socket put in the Blessing of the Worldly Gem. We mainly want to use this item because the legendary perks are that by using the Hammer of the Ancients we get to summon a spirit that kills enemies for us, and if the item is awakened then that spirit life gets increased by 10%. Then for the main hand we want to go with the Tempest, and for your socket you want to put in the Seeping Bile Gem. Again we want to use this item because of the legendary perks that increase the movement speed and radius of your Whirlwind, and if you awaken then the skill's energy will consume 10% slower. So then moving over to the next one, which is the Screaming Fury leg armor, and for your socket you want to put in the Blood-Soaked Jade Gem. For this specific gear piece, you want to go with whatever you want, because the legendary perks are useless for our build. Then moving over to the shoulders, and we want to go with the Coming Storm and put in the Berserker's Eye. We chose this item because of the perks that will give your Wrath of the Berserker 15% cooldown reduction, and if you awaken then you get additional 10% cooldown reduction. Then for one of the last items we have the chest armor, and we want to go with the Gathering and put in the Everlasting Torment Gem. The perks will give your Whirlwind the ability to pull in all enemies, and if you awaken then your consumption is reduced by 10%. And then lastly we have the helmet called Lasting Hate, and we want to put in the Trickshot gem. We picked this item because of the Wrath of Berserker's duration increased by 30%, and if you awaken then your cooldowns get reduced by 10%. Then for your charm you want to get this exact piece that gives all of your skills increased damage. And then last but not the least, for your neck you want to pick the Cutthroat and socket in the Ruby, Aquamarine and Citroen gem. Then for the finger get the Broken Palm and socket in the Tourmaline gem. Then for your other finger get the Severe Thumb and socket in the same Tourmaline gem. Then for your hands get the Bloody Hand and socket in 3 Tourmaline gems. Then for your waist get the Open Gut and socket in all 3 Topaz gems. And then lastly for your feet get the Torn Soul and socket in 2 Sapphire gems and 1 Aquamarine gem. And then just before we move on to the next part of the video, I want to clarify a few things on the armor. The exact items and gems I'm showing you are the best of the best. So it does not mean that you have to get perfect 5 out of 5 star gems or rank 20 items, but you simply use whatever is the best available for you, and bit by bit you want to get these gear pieces and gems. Then start equipping them, and this is how your full endgame build at 100% will look like. So then moving over to the awakening, and like I mentioned, for each gear, legendary items in Diablo Immortal can be awakened to unlock another perk on your item. To awaken a legendary item, you need the item itself and a legendary gem at rank 10, as this feature is more meant for late game, so don't try to expect all items awakened right away, but if you can, then your priority should be awakening the Tempest main hand, then your chest armor called the Gathering, then the shoulders called Coming Storm, and then lastly the Lasting Hate. And then from here you can awaken whatever item you want in whatever order you prefer. So then moving over to the gems, and we already covered the best gems that you want to use on your items in the gear section of this video. But in case if you can get your hands on the best gems, then in the meanwhile I want to give you a few best alternatives that will be good as well. So the best alternative gems are Trickshot Gem, Everlasting Torment, Fervent Fang, Berserker's Eye, Lightning Core and Chain Dead. And then for normal gems, you want to go with the Tourmaline, Sapphire and Citroen. And all of these gems will be useful and good alternatives. But like I said, for the best of the best, watch again the gear part of this video. Then with that said, moving over to the charm. And like I said, when we are looking into what gear we want to use, this charm will give us bonuses to Whirlwind, Frenzy, Hammer of the Ancients, Wrath of the Berserker and Undying Rage. And this is the best of the best. But especially at the beginning, it will not be easy to get. So if this is the case, that you can get the best of the best charm, then your priority should be on having Whirlwind bonus, Frenzy bonus, Hammer of the Ancients, Wrath of Berserker and then lastly the Undying Rage. If you have at least a charm with few of these skill bonuses, then that will be already a good charm, but now you know at least what bonuses are the best and how much are they worth by ranking. And then lastly, like alphas know, we can upgrade and rank up our gear and gems by salvaging gems and those set items to then improve the ones that we use. But there is one last final endgame feature that is called Family Bonus Stones. So when one of your primary 6 gear pieces reach rank 6, you can reforge that gear and improve it even more by putting in a reforging stone. And the best stones for this class is Vengeance Stone, Wildfire Stone and Tremor Stone. But like I have said many times, all of this is meant for super late game, so try to level up your gear and items as high as possible, so then you will be able to progress even further and have access to everything that I'm showing in this Barbarian build guide. So then moving over to the last and most important feature, which is the paragon system. So you start gaining paragon levels after hitting level 60. Each level grants you 1 paragon point that you can allocate into any open category. In total there are 5 categories and each one gives you more defense, XP bonuses and much more. So then for your barbarian, right after you reach max level and start gaining paragon levels, you want to put your points into the Vanquisher category. And this is how your first 50 paragon points should look like. So I recommend to unlock first of all the first damage node, then Zeal, then the second damage node, and then the Wrath. And then from here you can unlock all the other nodes in whatever order you prefer. But then as I expect many players will be playing and watching this video many months in the game, so then for players with paragon level 100, this is how your paragon tree should look like. And then lastly with players that have 150 points, this is how your paragon tree should look like in the very late game. So with that said, I really do appreciate everyone for watching guys and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, feedback or other good Diablo Immortal builds that you would like to see in the next video, then feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. And while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe and enable that notification bell, so this way you could support the channel and you won't miss any more amazing content from me. With all this said, you have a nice day and I will see you in my next video, so take it easy, peace.